In this how-to guide for Veeva, we are going to cover some customizing views, filtering, searching, and exploring the documents section. So for those who are transferring over from Bear, this is similar to Dart in comparison, and it is not as overwhelming. However, there are just as many documents because all those documents have been migrated, and that approach does still need to be taken into account when we are beginning this search and thought process of how we want to approach looking for documents in Veeva. So I'm going to begin with some basics of customizing your view and how you would like to see things. And this is something that you can always adjust over time depending on the things that you start noticing and that you like or maybe don't like and that you want to change. We have set up a very standard view with standard columns for everyone that we think is fairly appropriate. However, I want you to note that there's 3 dots on the far hand side and you can edit your columns, and this is true throughout Veeva, and you can make changes depending on your needs and wants. So if you know for sure you really need to know maybe the format of the document or the title or if it's a journal or keywords, you can simply select that, bring it over, and then move it up to the top if you want to see it, one of the first columns, and select Save. This adds this column to your new view, and you can now see it, and it will remain like this until you edit. If you decide you don't like it, you can simply go back, edit columns, click on your keywords, send it back, and hit Save again, and it will be removed. All right, now you can see here we have 42,000 documents so far, and that is not all of the documents that have been migrated. This is still the integration system that I'm making this video on. So we have more documents coming over. This is only about 80% of our documents that have been migrated, and we know that more will be added. So you have to approach Veeva just like you would Google. You have to start broad and then potentially filter down depending on what you're looking for. If you know very specifically what document you're looking for, you may want to start with your views, but if you maybe don't know, if you just know you're looking for something on, I'm going to use the example in Dazaflam. You can start searching in Daz and it will show you the suggested terms. There's a few documents that show up and maybe you would get lucky and that would show up that the exact one that you need, but maybe not. So I'm just going to select in Dazaflam. And that's going to give me all documents that have the word Indazaflam in the title. Now, that is in the title. If you want the system to search for Indazaflam in the actual documents, you need to use the advanced search option here and select Include Content. And that will search for in the Indazaflam in the content or the attachments, and then search again. And that will give you all results for the word Indazaflam that are contained within the title, the content, or the attachment. And so obviously that's going to give us a larger net that we cast, but it's going to be more all-encompassing. Something to point out as well, if you notice any of these blank looking forms here, these are what's called a placeholder. And part of our migration that we are still working through is not all of the files have been migrated, only the metadata. So to filter out, we're going to use our first set of filters. We are going to filter out by file type. Sorry, that was my mistake. It's not file type, it's actually file format. And we're going to remove all of the other. So we're going to only select PDF and Word, because the other is all of those placeholder documents that are showing up. And this is going to eliminate those other 460 that we don't really want to see. Those are only just placeholders. Now, if we get to the point that we still can't find what we need, maybe we'll go back and look at those 460. But for now, I do not want to see those 460. I just want to see the actual documents. And those will be migrated over, but just for right now, I just wanted to point that out. I think it's important and good information. So, okay, so now I do know that what I need and I'm looking for is a certificate. So you can see here it says up this type, it's the type of the document is certificate. So I'm going to go to document type and click certificate. This is going to drop my number down to 115. So we're getting a little bit closer. Here we go. Okay, now we're down to 115. This is looking a little bit better. I don't really want to go through all of these, but I do know that the document that I'm looking for is in English. So now I can go and I can select language and select English. So now I'm down to 77. So I'm definitely getting a little bit closer to a more manageable number. You can also see the document types are automatically being filtered again by more subtypes here. The certificates of analytical certificate product, the tech, the registration application, those different options are here. The one that I'm looking for is a registration confirmation, which is good. Look, there's only 8 of these, so I'm going to select that. So I'm looking for a registration confirmation for Indaziflam. All right, so we are down to 8 registration confirmations that are in English. And you can see those here. Now I can quickly look and see kind of these. I can expand this title section a little bit and see. So here's one from Zimbabwe, New Zealand, Indonesia, Ghana, Vietnam, Japan, the United States, and Egypt. The one that I am looking for was for New Zealand. And so I can simply click on that and it'll take me directly to my document, which is pretty awesome. And there it is. I can over here to the left hand side, I have 1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 different pages. You can also scroll up and down. That will show you the same thing. The first section here on the right hand side is your general information about the document. More document details. The product information, so this is the product that this document is linked to. If you want, a good tip is to right click and you can open the link in the new tab and that will take you to more information about that product. If this document is been linked to any regulatory information or dossiers, that will be noted here. The legacy M number is here. And then the specific file information or version history is located here. So you can see there's a first version, which has been obsoleted on 8/16/2022, and another version from 8/5/2022, which is version 2 here. All right, farther over to the right-hand side, we have a few other options. Document information is the section we are in. Then we have a relationship section, which you can quickly click on. This document does not have a lot of other attachments. However, we will look at a few others. The renditions, so the PDF, or any attachments, so the approval certificate for this document has been attached here. And then who has access to this document can be seen here. So that is a very high-level quick overview of the information of the document. You can see in this little drop-down arrow, you can do a full screen. You can fit the height, you can zoom in. If you can see any notes, thumbnails, you can open bookmarks, open destinations. There's a lot of other options that you can see and do within this document if you would like to. And if you want additional information on these options, that can be seen in the wiki page on our team site, and we can get into more of those details at another time because there is a lot of details. I think that another helpful one is the send as a link. So if you want to share this document with a specific person, you can send as a link and type in the recipient's name and then send it them directly through Veeva. Because this document has been released into the release state, the only option would be to make it obsolete. So if you are the owner of this document and you know that it does need to be made obsolete because a draft version has been created and a new one is going to be done. So then that would be the option there. But there is no other options or states for it to go to at this time. Okay, so now that I'm super glad I found this document that I needed, I want to add it to my cart. And I have two things in my cart currently. I realize I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to remove that. However, I do still need this one. This is the one I just downloaded, or sorry, added to my cart. So I'm going to download that. And this will simply be downloaded, and I can then save it. It's saving to my computer here, and I can use it for whatever purposes I need. All right, let's go back to the document section. I'm going to quickly do one more search that we can see if we can find a label real fast. All right, so I'm going to start right with the document types and go to labeling. And this is showing me all the labeling that is in Veeva as of now. Currently, we only have USA labels. We hope to have other countries add their labels soon, and then we'll have other countries listed here. So for now, I want to use this opportunity to show you how to save this view as a new, this filter as a new view. So I want to do save view as. I'm going to type in what this is, add an icon, and save. And this will prevent me from having to go back and research for these parameters in the future. You can do this for any searching criteria that you've done. Once you get to a place that you know that you're going to come back to often, whether it's labels or whether it's certain specifications, you can simply just save view as, and then you can come back to there moving forward. So now that we're here, we can then search within that section for maybe indaziflam. And that should search our US labels for indaziflam. So now we have a listing of all those US labels for indaziflam, and we can then pick one. So you can see the one that I selected, it shows the state which has been superseded. And so this one has no workflow status, which is important to point out. Because this label is superseded, I'm going to go back and select one that we know is within the release status. And if you click here on the document file on the far right hand side, you can see that this label has 8 attachments that have been associated with it and 1 additional rendition, whereas that previous example I showed I know did not have any. So I wanted to be sure I showed an example that had some renditions and attachments that could be seen. Again, this one's in the release status and easy to view here. We can do a full screen and easily view the label. We are all going to be champions of this data. So if you are in a document and you know for sure you see something that is wrong, please clean up our data. We really, really want this to be good, clean data, because if we don't, it is going to just be garbage. So at any time, you don't have to ask permission, please click the edit fields and edit anything that you see wrong and save that data so that we keep our data clean and fresh and that we can all be owners of this new wonderful system that we have.